Okay, well, I'm Rayshard Brooks, 27 years of age, have 3 kids. I'm happily married.
Months before his death in a fast food parking lot, Rayshard Brooks was opening up about his life's mistakes, the criminal justice system, and the rocky road to redemption in a newly released video.
Well, I just feel like some of the system could, look at us as individuals. We do have lives, it's just a mistake we made, and, not just do us as if we are animals.
His death and now his own words helping shape a dialogue at the intersection of policing and mass incarceration.
What's his name? Rayshard Brooks!
Along with questions of if and when police should be allowed to use deadly force. Brooks had had run-ins with law enforcement in the past. Records show he was on probation when he was killed after being convicted of multiple felonies, including cruelty to children and false imprisonment. After serving his time, it seems he was trying to make amends. Interviewed earlier this year about his experience by Reconnect, a tech startup focused on criminal justice reform.
If you do some things that's wrong, you pay your debts to society, and that's the bottom line.
Ateem Boykin is part of the team behind that research project. How did your organization connect with Rayshard?
We wanted to make sure we got the voices of people impacted by the criminal justice system. He was a great fit. Seemed very eager to tell his story.
We have to go back and try to fix things with our kids and, try and gain that trust back, with being away. My oldest daughter, Dad, she's, hey, I love you so much, but where have you been?
Today, Atlanta was a city divided as former Officer Garrett Rolfe and Officer Devin Brosnan turned themselves in, Rolfe being held without bail, while Brosnan walked out after posting a $50,000 bond, then appearing on MSNBC.
I felt he was friendly, he was respectful, I was respectful to him, and I felt like, he seemed like someone who potentially needed my help. And I was really just there to see what I could do for him and make sure that he was safe.
First charge is felony murder.
Rolfe now facing 11 charges after shooting Brooks in the back, including one for felony murder, while Brosnan is charged with aggravated assault. The district attorney, Paul Howard, saying these photos influenced the decision, which he says show Rolfe kicking Brooks and shows the other officer standing on Brooks's shoulder. The prosecutor also noting that Rolfe said, "I got him," after he shot Brooks, and that the officers waited more than 2 minutes before trying to save his life.
District Attorney Howard laid out pretty well that he was focusing on the actions after the shooting, the kicking of Rayshard Brooks, the standing on his shoulder, the comments that Officer Rolfe makes out about "I got him." A lot of that information goes towards the fact that he wasn't fearful for his life, but instead was committing a crime. I think that's what the prosecutor's going to really focus on in this case.
After the charges were announced, Brooks's family saying it's a starting point.
I felt everything that he felt just by hearing what he went through. And it hurt. It hurt really bad.
The charges come at a time of heightened tension between law enforcement and some in the community. Officers across the city calling in sick. The official line from police is that the numbers are small, saying in statements, "We have enough resources to maintain operations and remain able to respond to incidents." The rank and file of Atlanta police believe the shooting was justified and that city leaders served these officers up for political reasons. Atlanta's police union representative telling my colleague Steve Osunsami that their officers feel unsupported.
We've been complaining since day one that there hasn't been a full investigation. The investigation's been rushed. Normally they take a lot longer and everybody looks into them a lot farther, especially in an officer-involved shooting. So absolutely, I think this is still political.
The deadly encounter occurred last Friday night when the two officers responded to a call about a man blocking traffic at this Wendy's drive-thru. Officer Devin Brosnan is the first on the scene and approaches the vehicle.
Sir.
25 westbound at Jones.
What's up, man?
25 west.
Hey, you're parked in the drive-thru right now. Hey, sir.
Called in by a third
You right?
party. See a black Toyota Camry and an unknown.
Dude, you're parked. You're sitting in the drive-thru line here.
Minutes after Officer Brosnan arrives, Brooks pulls over into a parking spot. He says he's only had one drink that day.
Well, you say one drink. What kind of drink was it?
We just want a little margarita.
A DUI certified officer is requested. Garrett Rolfe arrives just shy of 11 p.m.
Hey, I'm Officer Rolfe of the Atlanta Police Department. How you doing?
I'm doing just fine.
All right, so tell me, I wasn't here, so can you tell me what happened before we got here?
Nothing happened. I just got here and was getting something to eat.
Just turn around, face away from me real quick.
Brooks tells the officer he has no weapons. He's then put through a field sobriety test and a breathalyzer.
All right, just take a deep breath in.
.108. The legal limit is .08.
Blah, 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 stop. You had about 1.5 drinks. You don't remember what kind of drinks they were?
No, sir.
All right.
I really don't, Mr.
All right, I think you've had too much to drink to be driving. Put your hands behind your back for me.
At 11:23 p.m., the encounter takes a turn when the officers attempt to take Brooks into custody.
Mr. Brooks' reaction when the cuffs came out is actually not all that rare. There was a serious fear of not only interacting with the police, but also getting caught in the criminal justice system. We have seen people dying in police custody, losing their entire lives in the criminal justice system. There are some real fears, and I think that's what we saw from Mr. Brooks in that interaction.
Stop!
At one point, in the midst of the struggle, Brooks reaches and grabs Officer Brosnan's stun gun. Brooks starts to run, Officer Rolfe chasing after him. This is when it turns fatal. When you were able to put 2 and 2 together and say, oh, Rayshard, that man in the video, they're the same person.
Yeah.
What did that feel like in your gut?
Another life taken too soon. And I thought that, what he talked about in this video was the pressures, the expectations that he wanted to meet, and the little time he was able to spend with his children. And now I thought, well, he'll never be able to see his children again. She'll never be able to hold her husband again. That's just another missed opportunity.
Us being, taken away from our family, it's hurting us, but it's hurting our family the most. So as we go through these trials and tribulations, it's hurting our kids, and it's taking away from our families.
During these last few months, we've seen a real re-examination of the racial inequality that is systemic in our systems across the board. Connect the dots for us of what we're seeing in the conversations around Black Lives Matter and mass incarceration and that endless cycle.
Well, see, the system's broken. Right now, I think it's an awakening that we're recognizing this autopilot system needs to be dealt with in a way that tailors the responses to support individuals with reintegrating into society. You see that there are over 44% of the jail population is African American. You see, if you look at any state or city, what their demographics are, you have to look at what the demographics of the population in jail are.
In the post on the website, your team notes that when you watch the interview, you see a man who badly wants to be heard, who wants to make an impact. Do you think Rayshard was heard in this video?
I think that as of today, a lot more Americans hear him now than they would have if we kept that footage. I think he's heard. I think even if you scream into a crowd, unless everybody stands still for a moment and pays attention, it doesn't matter how hard you scream or what you're saying. And right now, he is saying something that is an important conversation to continue.
A public viewing for Rayshard Brooks will be held next Monday in Atlanta.
Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.